For the third time this week, Davido is in the news again. Afrobeat star Davido is stirring debate, of course, after claiming that 110 billion naira was spent in the Osun election during an exclusive interview with News Central, while arguing that the outcome showed what can happen when voters stand against violence and vote what their choice is and, stand against vote buying. He says that his support for Governor Adeleke proves that when you stand by the people will stand by you, even as he insists he has no interest in politics. I will not apologize to Edo State Governor Monday Okwewolo over their recent clash. But with Davido's voice carrying significant weight beyond music, the question is how much influence should celebrities have in shaping Nigeria's political choices. We talked about that, and we gave you the background to this information yesterday. But let's also tell you that there was rumor, there were I don't know if I'll call it rumors, because we are seeing different accounts, varying accounts of an attack. Many did say that Davido's uncle was targeted in the attack, but Davido has come out to discount it and saying it was just a short scuffle outside the palace and did not concern them. Anyway, we do have a number of angles to consider today, but let's take a look at these videos and then we'll come to share some of our thoughts.
Mogbe, don't dare my fans. It's done. See how guys again, you go. Mogbe. I think me guys now. Nigeria. So, why has him be life right? How man when you fi gbale o daran. Ẹ gbà mí.
All right, so just to mention to you that, of course, we did bring you this update yesterday and we are re-emphasizing it all through the week so that you can please go check out our exclusive interview with Davido. Really insightful, engaging, and entertaining for the most part. But the sad or the scary, or would I say unfortunate part about this conversation is hearing about the attack and what exactly happened yesterday in Osogbo. The question is what is taking the center stage. There were reports of gunfire during Governor Ademola Adeleke's visit to the palace of the Ataoja of Osogbo, with officials saying that suspected hoodlums attacked the governor's convoy and they were repelled by his security personnel. However, this account and this version that was given by law enforcement has been challenged by Afrobeat star Davido. And he dismissed the reports of this attack as lies, adding another layer to an incident that has already sparked public concern. While the state government says there was no casualty and the police are still expected to provide their own account, the conflicting narratives are leaving Nigerians asking what really happened at the palace. Was this a random incident? Was it a genuine security incident? Was it politically motivated? Or is the public being fed with competing versions of everybody's truth? This is the video of, some of the videos taken outside about the scuffle. And we really don't know what the true position is. Who are we to go with what Davido said or with what law enforcement says?
Well, we're actually in tough times, Binga. So, first of all, people have trusted members of the press, our colleagues, with reporting real time and real story, the truth. But then again, Davido is not a journalist. Neither is he one who has a news blog. But with what he did over the weekend, this has in a way instilled some form of trust, as it were, by some persons on his account that he delivers or shares on social media, particularly on X, formerly known as Twitter. He's saying that he wasn't the target. People are saying the police public relations officer in Osun State, Abiodun Ojelabi, says that Davido was the target. But Davido has come out to say, I wasn't the target, that the people loved the governor. It was a scuffle between security agents and persons from the palace and outside, and that led to a chaos, and then, of course, it led to gunshots. But these gunshots don't sound like something that is palatable, something that is easygoing. But whatever it is, what we just want to say is, let's just get it. By now, we should have had a clear press release, especially from the police PPRO, the PPRO,
Osun State
of
Command.
Osun State, stating clearly, categorically, that this and this is what happens. And we also have to be very mindful. We live in times where everybody's a journalist now. So whatever video is being put out, it could either push a narrative, either right or left.
There's actually an update.
Let's see.
2 minutes ago, we were seeing an update.
2 minutes ago.
The Osun State Police Command has revealed, of course, that Davido was the target. And now the update we're seeing, according to the Daily Post newspaper, is that one person was killed. He explained that that one Adebayo Taoreed, popularly known as Small Rugged, an ex-convict and alleged member of cult group, attempted to approach Davido, but was stopped by members of a security team. He said the ensuing confrontation reportedly attracted other suspected gang members in the vicinity who temporarily blocked the entrance to the palace and obstructed the movement of the convoy of the governor. The police also confirmed that a 60-year-old man identified as Tajuddin Yusuf was shot during the incident and later died at a hospital.
I mean, elections are over. What sort of unnecessary and unfortunate developments are this? Why can't people just respect people's choices and go about their business without much rancor? It's quite unfortunate.
I just hope we'll get to a point where Osun State stories and so on will just let everybody breathe in Osun State. Victory has been gotten. Of course, I know they have to pay homage, visit, especially to all the Obas who had stood there for them. Yeah, but in between, while they're doing that, the people of Osogbo need to also understand that, I mean, you just let them do these things and then move on. Well, I hope we will not speak about Osun State again in a negative space, but of course, speak about them the positive light, especially with what should be going on in the state.
And talking about updates in Osun State, before we move on, I don't know if this is positive light to you, but the senator of particular concern has finally eaten the humble pie and apologized for his palace remarks. Is no longer, I think by now we can establish the fact that he's no longer a high. But he is now using African intelligence, AI, to apologize.
Wait. Which senator is that?
Senator Francis Fowosere. But civil society organizations are saying, no, it's too late to apologize. They are saying it should be used as an example.
And I agree. I can't agree more.
To help election hate speeches. Even his constituents in the National Assembly, the House of Reps, they are calling for a probe into this.
And we agree more. We couldn't agree more. On this show, we've been asking about what will be done to Senator Francis Fowosere because it's the nerve to brazenly come out. I'm knowing they're recording. In fact, ordering them, say, record me, and giving certain instructions that would impact the lives of citizens. Being able to be that brazen during an election, before the election, and even on the election day, even when you knew that your name was in the public domain. And I'm not saying that people should not forgive him. I think people should forgive him. However, forgiveness does not... Wait, allow me land now. Allow me land first. I'm not saying that people should not forgive him. People should forgive him. But forgiveness does not absolve the consequences of action. Meaning that if somebody at the top, somebody who is meant to be an honorable person, acts in a dishonorable manner, we set an example so that those coming behind know that you cannot incite electoral violence. You can't say certain things and get away with it. But if things like this slide, it's no different from those who criticize the carrot and stick approach used for terrorists, where you say they've repented, they are repentant Boko Haram members, let's reintegrate them back into the society, the same society that they have killed, maimed, kidnapped, and terrorized. You reintegrate them back into the society. The sooner we start to learn to hold people to account, the better for us as a nation.
Are we going to start with him? Like Mr. Joe consequences President Hansen will say. You are setting precedent. If you did not do anything about Jollof and Very Dark Man 2 fighting on the plane, if you did not do anything about Kwam 1 and Kwam 2, why do you want to start? Why do Nigerian laws want to start on top of Senator Fadausi's head?
Because our people will
Because he's a lawmaker and he should be held to higher standards.
That's one. Two, our people have a traditional proverb that says, anytime a person wakes up, is their morning. So if law enforcement chooses to wake up now, and you Senator Fadausi, good morning to them.
Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing?
Are you feeling okay?
So good morning to them. But if this is not set as an example, 2027 will be red. And it's not a threat. It's just people will see that they can do things and get away with it.
Threat to life. Do you know how serious threat to life is?
Yeah. I mean, whoever's watching us now, I mean, on a more clearer note, whatever we're saying here is not new, okay? Even a journalist was threatened on that day of the election, a very young journalist. This led other journalists to speak up and say, listen, there needs to be a clear understanding of violence and the role of violence, especially when it comes to elections, because nobody will be spared, including those who have the mandate to cover the elections through and through while they are apolitical. They are neutral, and they
just doing their jobs.
The journalists.
Yeah.
They include the INEC officials who operate the beavers and so on. Their own is just to work, okay? Even though they will try to cajole them, you know, try to give them something like the young lady who was caught, and they asked her, why did you collect money? But let's come back to what we're saying here. Violence is one key thing that CSOs have highlighted that needs to be looked into.
It's a problem.
The president, like I say, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria reiterated just 2 days ago during the signing of the peace accord, even though he was absent, his vice absent. But the representative, the SGF, said the president read from the script, the president's speech.
So representing the president,
that it is not a do-or-die affair. Let's avoid ethnicity and religious fights and so on. But you see, these things are just statements, Benga and Olive. They always make the same statements every year, every time. But when you slap someone, you know, just light slap, oh, don't do that again, and it continues, the person does it again. Senator Fadausi is a face that we here in the media will not stop highlighting or talk about, not just on News Central. Every media house is talking about it. It's a legacy that I think he would not forget in a hurry. Amnesty International had already said they will make an example of him, that they're going to ensure that 150 countries where you have Amnesty International present, they will ensure that he does not fly into those countries, and they will put it on red. And that's what Amnesty International is doing now. If Amnesty International is doing that, what are members of the Assembly?
I mean, you have to give it up for the members that raised this in the House of Representatives, the lawmakers. They are also demanding a probe into this exercise. They said he should be probed, the lawmakers representing ADC in Kebbi State and Katsina State.
The police said 2 weeks, right? We're almost done with week one. We'll wait for week two.
So there are multiple fronts that are
the police is on the spotlight. It's very easy for them to shout, the judiciary is in the spotlight. Now the police is in the spotlight.
We're waiting for 2 weeks.
Because when they invited him, he came, he spent about 2 hours or so, and they let him go on administrative bail. I asked the same question. Is it law selective? If he was a regular young Nigerian person that had said something remotely insightful, in 24 hours, the DSS, even if he was on Instagram Live, the DSS will have located him and picked him up. That same law should be applied in this case.
Absolutely.
Senator Francis Fadausi has questions to answer, and the Nigerian people are watching. Let's see what Nigerians are saying. Just to mention, we're streaming live on YouTube, News Central TV Live. And if you'd like to drop your comments, please head there to drop a comment. We'll take the comments there, but let's first head to X and see what Nigerians are saying on X before we come to YouTube.
On X, why I can't pity them is that no one... Okay, I didn't see that one. Okay, let's take this. It was literally the garage boys that went change of power, that want change of power. Or more, but that gunshot torment also. Okay, this is someone who's living close. The MT says, it says it's the garage boys, LOL, who do we believe now? I trust Davido anyway. You know, they share unauthentic news. This is what we're talking about. Let's go to YouTube very quickly and see some of the comments we have there.
Okay, on YouTube, Prince Ajibade says, good morning, first of all, to YouTube audience. Prince Ajibade says, the president can't see anything written for him by his media aides, but his body language isn't showing that he's not enjoying this violence. Senator Fowosere is still walking around with police aides. Mr. XX says, we must send a message to Nigerian politicians. Only your records will decide your victory. We have Michael Zu says, it is too late for Fowosere to apologize. He shouldn't be forgiven. He must face the law. He's suspended by Senate, and since he can't respect his septuagenarian status. Oyedok Wanlaide says, what has your president said and done in all of this rogbodinho? I love that word, rogbodinho. Prince Ajibade still says, if Governor Adeleke no dance for that place, I for vex. If anyone is killed and hurt in Osun State after this election, that, of course, is referring to Senator Fowosere, should be held accountable. Kojubeko. And then Michael Zeus asks, if APC didn't want to win in Osun, why the attack on Adeleke at Ataoja Palace? It is so funny how a party sent many governors, Senate president, ministers, 15,000 policemen, just to let Adeleke return. Osa says it is dangerous for our society. Victor Okebata says nothing will happen to Francis Fowosere. He is APC. Nathan Emmanuel says double standard is the problem in Nigeria. The earlier comment of Osa says the sad reality is that you must have the following qualities in Nigeria not to be punished by the law. 1, be a rich man. 2, be a celebrity. 3, be a politician. This is what the people say, and it is dangerous for our society. Nigerian says we have different laws for the rich and different laws for the poor. That's why some people do anything to get rich. Joe.
Well, the former Minister of Petroleum, he was sentenced to how many years in prison? He was a member of the APC. And so
that's not to say that they haven't been
exactly
exceptions.
It's a one-off.
But it's because there's a general mindset that if you've committed certain things, your sins will be forgiven and deodorized by the APC government. Because we've heard them say it, even in their joking banter. Say, come over here.
Senator Fowosere to distance himself from the AI comments and also saying that he was quoted out of context. Then we can start considering forgiving him.
So wait.
Because he was trying to take us for a ride. Okay,
so let's just wrap up this comment. I don't want to say anything. Use your tongue to count your teeth. You said something. They caught you, okay? You said people don't understand the way you said it, that you spoke in Yoruba, and they people from the state, from the same place which you said, Oga, you said it.
Then on the day.
You said this thing around in the evening, Just 3 hours later, I went to another TV station and said, that's AI.
Then on the day of the election, you knowing that your issue was still circulated, you made another statement. It's almost giving
like one of the comments has said, he should have respected his octogenarian status.
He should have. But let's move on and paint a picture for you. Imagine serving your country for decades, retiring, and then having to protest just to demand the pension adjustment you believe you are entitled to. That was the reality in Abuja yesterday as military retirees took their grievances to the Ministry of Defense over the alleged failure to implement consequential adjustment to their pensions following salary increases approved for serving military personnel. The protest came amid a heavy security presence with armed soldiers, police officers, immigration personnel, VIO officials, and armored personnel carriers deployed around the ministry. The retirees say President Bola Tinubu's November 2025 salary increase for military personnel should have triggered a corresponding adjustment to their pensions. But did it? They allege that this has yet to happen, despite repeated acknowledgements of the approval by military authorities. So, why are military retirees still on the streets demanding an adjustment they say should already have been reflected in their pensions? November 2025, we're currently in August 2026. Before we blink, it's going to be 1 year. What has happened in the past few months? Let's take a look at this video.
You cannot. We are not blocking road, we are doing the process. hear us. We are working for you. One day you will do that. We are begging you people. We are working for you people. We are working for this people. We are working for this people. We can't demand in our country.
Salary increase of last November that was not implemented. We're not talking of that. But the new one of minimum of 180,000 minimum wage for military, 180,000, and they had computed the fund for implementing it and did not include retirees for consequential adjustment. When we raised it, the permanent secretary talked in a very soft tone, in a tone that melted our hearts. That they are sorry for it, and they will not, they recognize our service, they wouldn't want to treat us bad. They talked in a language, in a statement that melted our hearts. And then they promised they are pushing it up. The Director of Joint Services, in her own statement, said they have reached out to military pensions board. They have reached out to military pensions board. They're trying to capture it. That the military pension board will compute it and forward to them. They assured us the work is going on. And we equally told them we are not happy to be on.
And this is so sad to see and witness on television. These are men and women that have, a lot of their colleagues have paid the ultimate price in defending Nigeria's territorial integrity. The military is almost a thankless job. You've given your youth 35 years of service only to end up in this situation where your pensions that are due to you, we don't see the corresponding increase and increment reflect. There's always a back and forth between the finance ministry and the military pensions board. And I mean, these are men that are octogenarians, a number of them, they're senior citizens, and they're struggling to get by because they're not in regular employment, a lot of them, and they depend wholly on this pensions. You can see the emotions running high. They were once in the position of these soldiers that are preventing them from advancing forward, and it's a very, it leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Just yesterday, we were speaking here on the Lagos State Contributory Pension Scheme, which is the same, almost the same plight that this military pensioners are facing. So our appeal to the authorities is, please, these are heroes and they've given their best in service of the nation. It's only right that we, whatever it takes, whatever the issues are, please sort them as soon as possible. It's a life and death matter. That's my 2 cents. I
don't know if it's appeal I want to appeal, but there has to be a chain of accountability here. If the president gave this approval and it was announced and they publicly thanked President Bola Tinubu for this, why are they not getting it? It is their right. They worked for it. They're not begging for it. It's their entitlement. So there should be an investigation into actually what occurred, why this hasn't yet been remedied, and it should be fixed. But what we don't realize we're doing is we're subconsciously sending a message to those that are currently serving, to tell them that when you retire, when you leave the service, we're not going to care for you. You barely get access to your pensions. How do you expect them to be able to serve with morale high? Their morale will definitely be low because they're seeing the way that veterans are being treated. We're not setting a precedent of how we respect and regard our military personnel. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. We don't want our armed forces to feel like they're back, you know, they're not priority. In a nation that is battling huge levels of insecurity, we need our armed forces at the forefront. They have been at the forefront of this fight. At the least, really, we can do is prioritize their welfare. Anyway, we'll quickly take what Nigerians are saying, Joe, but let's quickly get, Joe's reactions to this as well.
It's sad, Olive. It's really sad. I think that's all I can say. It's sad. I think sometimes we criticize people for not wanting to serve. But then again, when they see videos like this, you see why they would rather go abroad to serve and become veterans abroad. But we have veterans here. It seems the veterans here are not being honored. And let's make it clear, for those who would quickly blame the president, please, this has nothing to do with President Bola Tinubu. He has done a great thing in ensuring that, listen, let's review the money, ensure these people are well paid. I think if they were listening now, which I believe they are, the president should actually set up what I would like to call a reform performance department. All the reforms that have been carried out, there should be a special unit that follows through to look at these reforms and ensure that they are implemented. The one that happened in Lagos State, who is following through? Because people keep saying, so look at this man yesterday. If you watch more of this video, this man was willing to give it all. He was tired. And I do hear that some of them have died. Same story what we saw yesterday. Some have died in the course of trying to get their monies and they never got it. Some are sick. Some can't pay for their rent.
Some are bedridden.
Some are bedridden because they sustained injuries, bullet wounds. They had their legs amputated. They've not gotten their money. Has the president done a great thing to respond to them? Yes. But in responding to them, who are those that are supposed to implement it? They keep hearing stories. So if the president has his way, he should set up a reform department, basically, to look at all the reforms that have been done. But let's see what
we don't do well for our
very
senior
quickly.
citizens in general. We need to do better for our senior citizens.
It's sad. This one is Olami. Olami says, but it was this last week when APC camp said Nigeria is now a developed nation because Tinubu has cleared all pensions, owed and salary increases for some ranks up. So what caused the protest again? What a cinema nation, he says. Why can't I pity them is that, why I can't pity them is that no one knows if these same people crying and protesting today were once blocking other retired personnel from protesting during their time of service as well. In other words, you're saying what goes around comes around. That's your thought. Anyway, serving Nigeria as a security operative is no longer an honor. The system discards you the moment you retire. No respect, no proper care, no value, just used and thrown away. That's the perception of that Nigerian. While the same system continues to praise itself, it's no surprise that many of those still in active service are now going rogue, looking for ways to secure money for after service. Who wants to serve Nigeria passionately when this is the reward waiting for you at the end? That's a deep question to ponder on.